So now we have our base components as well as our background, and we can start shading and adding color and refining this. What we're going to do is we're going to set these top 3 layers to alpha lock. Our lagoon is still on alpha lock from before when we recolored it. You can do as we did before by tapping the layer to bring up the side menu and then choosing alpha lock. Alternatively, there is also a gesture for this, which is using 2 fingers to swipe and release to the right, and you'll see the checkered background appear. And you can turn off alpha lock the same way. And we're going to start on our bottom mountain layer here. So making sure that I'm selected on it, I am then going to tap my brush, and moving to the spray paint section, I'm going to use the fine nozzle brush. And I'm going to grab my very darkest color, which is a dark blue, but it appears almost black when it's surrounded by all of these other dark colors. My brush size is set to about 60, and we're painting behind this front mountain, so the things that I paint in this area you won't see, but I'm still going to, because when we smudge later, I want it to be all filled in with color. I'm just going to paint generally this diagonal half of the mountain, and then I'm going to switch to my slightly lighter blue. And now I forgot to do this step. We're going to go back and do it quick. We're going to turn off the stabilization and the motion filtering. If you want to leave it on or change the percentage where it's at, that's totally fine. What I want here is to have complete control over my brush strokes without as much of the motion filtering that I wanted for the cloud shapes. Then I'm going to zoom in on these peaks, and I'm actually going to hide my cloud layer for a minute. So opening my layers panel, I'm going to tap the checkbox next to the cloud layer and just hide the visibility of that. Then decreasing my brush size down to 6%, pretty small. I'm going to use really light pressure, and I'm going to start to paint in the left side of this peak and then fade it into the dark purple blue color. Then on this next peak, I'm going to start my brush stroke off of the mountain. Because it's on an alpha lock layer, we won't see anything show up until the brush stroke is on the mountain itself. And I'm continuing the angle of this line with this brush stroke. And then we're going to meet up at the top of the peak and connect them, and then fill this in. And then using light pressure, I'm creating a bit of a fade or a gradient here on that edge. And then same thing on this peak, just create a darker line and connect to the top. And that's already given us a nice bit of dimension. Then I'm grabbing this purple color, increasing my brush size to about 40%. I'm going to start building up some color here in the transition area and using really light pressure so that it nicely fades into all of my other colors. Nothing too harsh. Next, grabbing this bright pink, I'm decreasing my brush size a bit for more fine-tuned control, and I'm going to use this on the right side of the peaks to lightly dust in some color. Then I'm going to move to this orange. I'm going to use even less of this, just really a touch to get some variation of pigment in. Still using really light pressure, I'm adding a bit of a glow further in from where I painted the pink. Moving on to this light pink color, I'm going to add a touch of this to the edges. And then switching to the cream color, I'm decreasing my brush size even further and just lightly glazing this in. As the colors get progressively lighter, I'm trying to use less pressure so as not to overpower the colors that I previously painted, and also to create a slight gradient here. Next, I'm selecting my dark purple blue again, and with a smaller brush size, I'm going to redefine these dark planes of the mountain peaks to make it just a little more crisp. I'm also going to switch between the lighter blue and the purple to layer some of these colors back in, again using soft pressure to create a more mottled effect. This is a great time to experiment with brush pressure and play with what order the colors are layered in to find what you like and what you think looks good. Maybe you want your mountain to be more sun-bathed, in which case you might want to keep the prominence of the pinks and oranges. If you're using your own color palette, try to keep a mix of both warm and cool colors, and be sure to have a range of light to dark values. This will help create the illusion of dimension within the painting. And then I'm going to use the smudge tool just to blend these colors. I'm using super light pressure so that I don't totally combine everything together. I still want to keep that definition of my peaks. Now that we have colored and shaded in our first mountain layer, we can move on to our second. So moving up to make sure I'm selected on this layer in the layers panel. I'm still using the fine nozzle brush. And I'm selected on my second darkest color, this purple blue color. Setting my brush size on the slider here to about 30. By the way, Procreate has a feature that allows you to set saved points within your brush. This can be really useful if you have a certain working point or a few different points in specific brushes that are something that you continue to return to. Once you're at the percentage point, you can set it by tapping this plus sign, and this small dash will appear. You can set multiple different points, up to 4. And then when you try to set a 5th, the option no longer appears. And then to remove them, tap the minus sign. And there's also an option to do the same for opacity levels. This can be really useful to save you time in scrolling to get to the exact perfect brush point. Now I'm going to use 2 fingers to pinch and zoom on this mountain. And starting from the corner, I'm going to dust in this darker shade using really light pressure so that the background color is still visible. Once I have about less than half filled here, I'm going to switch to this purple color and fill in the middle. Once again, still using light pressure, and I'm overlapping with the first color that I drew. Now, if you want to have less control but have it go faster, you can always increase the brush size. Because we're using light pressure here, the color builds up slowly, that this might be a better option for you to save time and hand motion. I'm going to decrease my brush size as we begin to shape the peaks. So I'm starting with about 7% and grabbing this same dark purple. Starting from the leftmost peak, I'm going to draw a line diagonally that reaches to about halfway down the length. It doesn't have to be exact. Once I reach the halfway point, I'm going to connect with my lower left corner. And then I'm going to fill this with color. And in this instance, I am going to increase my brush size. Not too big, I'm sticking around 15%, and I'm working partially off of the alpha locked shape so that I don't cross over this edge that I've drawn here. Bring my brush size back down to about 5%. On the second peak, I'm going to start drawing off of the alpha locked shape to continue this line. And then when it gets to about a little less than halfway across the length of this second peak, I'm going to connect back up to the top. You can do this by drawing a straight line or by freehanding it. And then I'll fill this with color as well. On this third peak, I'm doing the same. So starting my line motion to continue the angle of this peak here. I'm going to draw a small line inward, a little less than halfway, and then connect up to the top. And now, grabbing my bright pink, I'm setting my brush size here to about 20, and starting off of the alpha lock shaped, I'm going to dust in color on the right side of this mountain and the 3 peaks. And then I'll decrease my brush size a bit to go over these areas where we have the shadow. And you might find that you just need to play around with the brush size to find what works for the section that you're drawing on. Then I'm going to move to this orange color.
Again, you might find you get better results when you test a brush size, undo the brush stroke, adjust it, and then try again, because the scale is different for every single brush. So trial and error is often the fastest way to get to the right spot.
Switching back to the pink, I'm just going to dust a little more in here. And then the lighter pink. And this one I'm using really sparingly. And then the cream color, I'm going to decrease my brush size. And I'm almost just ghosting this in on the edge. And zooming in, I'm going to decrease my brush size to about 5%. I'm going to highlight this portion here that isn't a clean cut edge. We'll go back in and draw the shadow over this portion just like we did on the last mountain, but what I want to do here is create some emphasis on this side of this peak. And then I'll zoom in on this next one and do the same. And then we'll go back to our dark purple blue color and zooming in really close with our small brush size. I'm going to more carefully define that edge there. And then the same on the second. Now I'm going to move to the smudge tool, which I still have set on the fine nozzle brush. I'm going to decrease my brush size to about 15. And we're going to sort of push this edge up here a bit, so I feel like it extended a little far. And then we're also going to blend the purple into the pinks so that we can get a nice, almost gradient between them. What I like to do with smudging is just push the colors around on the canvas, and you're kind of manipulating the paint, if you will. I'm going to zoom in here and decrease my smudge brush. And then I'm going to blend this shadow area so that it's pretty even in color. And then I'll do the same here. Now, we don't have a lot of contrast between this shadow and the first mountain. So to fix some of that, I'm going to grab this medium teal color and using really light pressure, I'm just going to dust a tiny bit in, and you can already see this starts to become more visible. And then to make the other peaks match, I'll just dust a little in here as well.
Now, in this lesson, we've completed most of the coloring of the mountains. There's a little bit more that we'll be doing to finish these off, so in the next section, you'll learn to use Procreate's automatic selection tool to work in a specific area.